I bypass the first derivative and just immediately give you the second derivative? You can't. Excellent answer. Stupid question. You have to do the first derivative first. So I got to do the quotient rule here. Y prime equals derivative of the top times the bottom minus the derivative of the bottom times the top, all over the bottom squared. Am I ready to do the second derivative right now?
No.
It would maybe behoove me to simplify before I do the second derivative. So the first derivative, you might notice, is 2x plus 4x squared minus 2x squared all over 1 plus 2x quantity squared. Now I'm ready for the second derivative, right? Not only no, but hell no. 2x plus 2x squared all over 1 plus 2x quantity squared.
Is it easier to bring the bottom
Can't you
up?
factor out the 2x?
Yeah, then I'll have a product rule on top. What? Right, I'd rather leave it as a polynomial. Now I'm ready for the second derivative. By the way, remember, if I write this as dy dx, how do I write the second derivative? D squared y over dx squared. So y double prime, or d squared y over dx squared, is derivative of the top.
4x. Oh, times bottom.
2 plus 4x times the bottom, 1 plus 2x quantity squared, minus the derivative of the bottom. We can't do the derivative of the bottom. Why not?
Here, can you bring the bottom up to the top?
We can't do the derivative of the bottom. Why not? Don't know the chain rule yet. So I've got to do one more step here, and yes, I could, then I would be doing a product rule with negative exponents. So I have to rewrite the top as 2x plus 2x squared over 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. So derivative of the top times the bottom minus derivative of the bottom, 8x plus 4, times the top, 2x times 2x squared, all over the bottom squared, 1 plus 2x to the 4th. Why did I write it that way instead of the expanded form squared? Well, because this one's factored, isn't it? I'd much rather square that than square this big ugly trinomial. What can I factor out of the first group on top? What can I factor out of the first term on top? What can I factor out of this?
2.
You don't want to multiply. Multiplying is your enemy. Factor. Factor. Because I can sure as the world tell you if I gave you this problem. Well, first of all, if I gave you this problem, you'd know the chain rule. So you'd be having much easier methods. But if I gave you this, I'm sure as a world, a bunch of you would start multiplying that out. And I would have to take your wrist and slap it. Because I want to factor a 2 out of that. That's going to be 2 times 1 plus 2x times 1 plus 2x quantity squared, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Minus, and what am I going to factor out of the 8x plus 4?
4.
4, and what does it leave?
2x plus 1.
Another 2x plus 1. How opportune. What am I going to factor out of 2x plus 2x squared?
2x.
2x, and what does that leave?
A 1 plus 2x.
1 plus x. All over 1 plus 2x to the 4th. How many steps of calculus were there? How many steps of algebra? An infinite number, I'm sure. So do you see what I meant when I said that this chapter is really going to kind of depend on your algebra skills? Lots and lots and lots of algebra. Each problem just has one, sometimes maybe 2 steps of calculus. So now what? What can I factor out of the top here?
1 plus 2x.
I can factor out a 1. Well, I can also factor out a 2. Let's factor out a 2, let's factor out a 1 plus 2x. What am I left with out of that first term now?
1 plus 2x minus.
1 plus 2x quantity squared minus
2. Wait. 2x plus
4x times
1.
1 plus x.
Oh.
All over 1 plus 2x to the 4th. Doesn't that make your algebra hurt? Depends on if you're sitting on your algebra or not. Equals 2 times, why am I not going to write the 1 plus 2x on top?
You cancel the bottom.
It's going to reduce with the denominator and leave 1 plus 2x to the 3rd power in the denominator. Then in the numerator, I've got 1 plus 4x plus 4x squared. Now I have to expand because there's nothing more to factor. Minus 4x squared. Well, it looks like the 4x squareds cancel, and the 4x's cancel. So I'm left with 2 over 1 plus 2x quantity cubed. This will be a much easier problem once we know something called the chain rule. That really is going to simplify things a lot.
I have a question.
I don't care.
I distributed, I started distributing from the